guys, if your boss took too many painkillers and chemically subluxated her neck and came into my office, I would take care of her. If your roomie came home wasted and started kicking a loaf of bread around the kitchen floor like a football at 3 a.m. and whoop, smack, cracked his back, I would take care of him. If your great auntie climbed up into the attic at 89 years old just because she wanted to reach something that was right there and came back down and missed that last step because she just wouldn't ask anybody for help, I'd take care of her. If your elderly father pulled out the strimmer, that's the weed whacker, and started trimming the bushes and couldn't move the following day because he hadn't warmed up those old bones before he started, I'd take care of him. If your kid walked out the door on the way to school carrying a 30-pound backpack and you stood there shaking your head saying, somebody ought to do something about this. If your kid was complaining of a really, really sore neck and a really achy back, I'd take care of him. If your wife went back to work 4 weeks after giving birth to another human being and then blew her back out because she hadn't even remotely had time to sufficiently start to heal, I'd still take care of her. If Uncle Johnny got drunk at your kid's communion and there he was bouncing on the bouncy castle and then boom, cranked that neck and couldn't move the next day, I'd take care of him. If you decided to start running again and you warmed up for about 30 seconds, this little stretch, bang, you went for 5K and you couldn't move the following day, you're welcome in my office. If you went out and took some mushrooms with your friends just once on a wild night out and you tripped into a psychosis and you were really struggling to find yourself again, you booked yourself in for a healing session to try and find your way out, I'd take care of you. If you stayed in a marriage with a partner who emotionally abused you year after year after year for the sake of the kids, to the detriment of your own physical and emotional well-being, I'd still take care of you. People do stupid shit every single day. We're human beings. That's what we do. And those of us who took an oath, we didn't take an oath to judge them, because where's the cutoff point? Because to this guy who thinks that smoking is the worst thing in the world, who doesn't ever take a drink, and to this guy over here who smokes a few cigarettes and never touches a drop of alcohol, and to this one over here who had the courage to leave that marriage, but this one just doesn't have it yet. We're all at different stages in the evolution of ourselves and of our lessons in life. And as somebody who took an oath, I swore to take care of my fellow humans. End of story, period. There's no judgment. There's no yeah buts. There's no, but you chose. No. Now, the only time that I am not going to take care of you is if you are such an asshole when you come in and you are so rude or abusive to anybody else in my space, out the door you go. That's the only time. But I will never, ever, ever tell you that because you chose something that I deem ridiculous or stupid, that you can't come see me or that I'm not going to take care of you, because that's not what a doctor does. Because I sure know plenty of doctors who do some stupid stuff themselves. We're not here to judge. That's not what we do. So I just think it's really important that we take a deep breath, because now there's a lot of stuff coming out about people who are, well, I think that those who are unvaccinated shouldn't be allowed into the hospitals anymore. They're clogging it up. Guys, first of all, check your stats, okay? Where are you getting these numbers from? Because there's many vaccinated in the hospital as there are unvaccinated in a whole lot of areas. And look, it is an individual's choice what they want to do, what they want to put in their body. So, like, if they're a little uncertain about the hydroxypropylcyclodextrin or the disterylglycerophosphocholene or the hydroxybutyl azanadiol hexane 6-diol-2 hexadecantate, if they're not okay with putting that into the body and they want to just take their chances, That's okay. And that's not a personal assault against you. That's just them. Do you know when I found out that I was anaphylactic to MSG? First time MSG went into my body, and thank God somebody was there to help me. Do you know when I found out that I was allergic to shellfish when I'd been eating it for years and years and years? That one time, I ate that shellfish, and I'd probably eaten it 2 days earlier. No problem. And boom, my throat swelled closed, and I almost died. And so, there's all sorts of people who have all sorts of reactions and experiences that you may never have gone through. Having been through anaphylaxis 3 times in my lifetime and having been dead before, yeah, you know what? Your opinion about what I choose to put in my body doesn't really matter to me. But I respect your right to do whatever you want to do with your own body. Okay? And I think it's really important that we just sit back and chill out just a little bit with this whole kind of, I don't think we should care for those people because y'all are starting to sound scary. You've been sounding kind of scary, but I'm seeing people that I had the deepest respect for. Oh my gosh, highly educated individuals who could carry a really good argument, who could really help other people come to some good conclusions for their own health and safety. And then they blow it out of the water when they become completely irrational when they say, well, this person shouldn't get our care. They're clogging up the hospitals. Let me tell y'all something. If I started weeding out the people who clog up my waiting room because they did something really stupid, I can't even get into it. I can't even get into it. Do you know? We don't do that. We don't not see people because we don't agree with the choices that they've made. Okay? Because guess what? There are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people who are ending up in the hospital with reactions that you guys aren't hearing about. Okay? So just think about that for a little bit. And if you've gotten out of this so far without having any kind of reaction, yay, yay, yay. I am truly excited for you because I don't want to see anybody hurt. But if you're one of those people who haven't, and guys, there are a lot of them, just because it's not formally reported doesn't mean it's not happening. And, we know what that process looks like. And we also know the fact that, we're being fed what's most convenient on the news to push a particular agenda. And anybody who denies that is living in cloud cuckoo land, okay? I don't care what side of the fence you're sitting on. If you can't see that, you're blind. Okay, so I just think it's really important that we just step back and take a breath and evaluate what we're saying. And gosh, what people are starting to say publicly, because I'm like, oh my gosh, ooh, that's my mom they're talking about. Wow, that they, oh well, let her die. They don't know about her allergic reaction. They don't know about the fact that, she almost died when she took an injection of X, Y, or Z. That's none of their business. But they don't know. But they're saying some pretty nasty stuff that applies to her. And all of a sudden, they've decided what her political affiliation is based on whether she's vaccinated or not. I'm like, guys, come on. Do you know? And, I've had a severe reaction to a vaccine once that almost took me out. And I got stuff to do. And it's not something that I'm willing to do. And that's none of your business. And so I think it's just really important now that we just take a big breath, stay in our own lanes, tend our own gardens, and stop saying really mean stuff. Because if I keep seeing you say that kind of mean stuff, and somebody that you know and love comes in and needs my service, but they're clogging up my waiting room and they're driving up insurance costs, when the people who come in here who take really good care of themselves and, do make really good choices, can't get an appointment because I'm seeing all the people who've done stupid stuff. Imagine if it looked like that. So just watch what you're saying, because I swear it's getting ridiculous. It's been ridiculous, to be quite honest. And I'm starting to lose a lot of respect for some people that I really had a lot of deep respect for. And I don't want that to happen. So I try to take my own breath and go, it's okay, everybody's where they are and all. But it's relentless, guys. And if you're joining one of those gangs where you're being a terrorist on one side or the other, stop it. Just stop. Stop it. It's helping no one. All we're trying to do is keep the balance and provide information on both sides so people can make informed decisions, because right now the information is extraordinarily one-sided, and we have seen all of the tactics that have been put in place to keep it that way. And there are some of us who, you know, I read off that list of ingredients and you're like, what are you talking about? You take such and such and such and such. Do I? How do you know? You don't know what I take. I had an 89-year-old woman in here the other day who's never even taken a Tylenol. She's never taken a painkiller. Nothing. She's never had a tablet in her body. Do you know? Everybody doesn't live the same way. Everybody doesn't eat the same way. Everybody doesn't take the same stuff. So for people to make a grand assumption that everybody follows the same type of protocol, that everybody uses allopathic medicine, there are a lot of people who don't, you know? And I have in cases of emergency, and that's why it works for me, because in the case of emergency, my body is, you know, responsive to it, because it just is. And everybody doesn't follow the same models in life. And so what's happening right now is the protocols and the outcomes are being dictated by one branch of the healthcare services available to us in this world. And there are a lot more people who use non-traditional approaches to the body in the 8 billion people who are on the planet than who use the medical approach, quite honestly. So let's just breathe, and let's try to be kind, and let's remember that we're all not here having the same experience. So peace out, stay well, and be nice.